We're going to go over production runs in this video. Production runs are really the meat and potatoes of ReciPal. It's where you turn raw materials into finished goods, and it's where they say kind of the magic happens. So definitely pay attention to this video, and we'll get started here. So the first thing you want to do is pick a recipe. That can be either a finished product, like one of these 2 cookie recipes, or it can be a sub-recipe or work in progress, like the flour mix we make that goes into the finished products. We'll pick the cookies just because, no particularly good reason. Once you pick your recipe, you want to say how much you're going to make. In the recipe itself, which you can view by clicking this link or clicking the preview button, you can say whether you're making a batch or a package or a case. You define all that in the recipe. Say we're going to make 5 packages of our chocolate chip cookies. We can also say whether we're making this production run today, or we can plan ahead for the week or month to get a little ahead of schedule and be a little organized. We'll stick to today. And then down below, you'll see the ingredient requirements for this production run. So if we change our production run to 10 packages, you'll see everything double. We'll leave it as 5 packages. And so down below we have our ingredients, so our flour mix, sugar, salt, baking powder, etc. Tells us how much we need for the production run, for the amount we're trying to make. Tells us how much current inventory there is of each ingredient. And if we hover over the eye icon, it'll tell us what open lot codes we have. We can also set a margin of safety. That'll basically give us a little more of each ingredient, just so we don't run out and have enough and don't have to run back to the pantry. So if we change our margin of safety to 10%, everything will go up by 10%. But we'll leave it at 0 for now. That's not a big deal. It'll also tell us if there's not enough of a particular ingredient. It'll highlight it in an orange-red color. So if we change this to 100 packages, it'll say, oh, we're short on a couple of ingredients, heads up. And that's where production plans will save us, so that we know we have enough of each ingredient and we don't run out. So when we're actually doing production, you might want to check out this batch control log. It's basically a checklist for your production, something you'd print out and take with you into the kitchen, and then take notes on as you went of the amounts and lot codes and notes for that production run. That's going to be covered in a separate video, so we won't go over it in detail, but take note of that. That might be something really useful for your production team. But anyway, back to the production run. When you're doing production, if the actual amounts you use of any ingredient changes, you can change that in this actual amount section. So say we used half a pound of sugar instead of 0.36 pounds. We can click the save button, and then it'll reduce our raw materials for that sugar ingredient by half a pound instead of 0.36 pounds when we close the production run. That way our inventory stays up to date. You can also enter your lot codes here. It'll auto-complete it for you. But what you probably want to do is use this autofill lots button. There's more info on it in the little info icon. But if you click that, it'll pull all your lot codes from the lot codes you've entered for your raw materials on a first in, first out basis. And so having that done automatically saves you a lot of work and make your lot tracing a lot simpler. Of course, you want to check those, make sure they're accurate. You can add multiple ones if you're pulling from more than one lot. And the autofill lots button will do that for you automatically if you've run out of a lot. So that's the actual amounts and lot codes. And once you're done with production, you can say how much you actually produced, if that was indeed 5 packages or a little more or less, how many hours it took, who was in charge, put any waste and notes. And you can also put in a finished good lot code. That'll let you do the lot tracing based on that production run and where you sent it out. You can put that in manually, but you can also set this lot code formula, and that'll be pulled. It'll be based on this date that we entered for the production run. Now, if you click on this set lot code formula, you can set a prefix and a formula, which you can use for all your products or just this one. And there's more notes on how that formula works and a little more details. So we'll stick with that lot code formula. And when we close the production run, that's kind of where the magic happens, as I was saying before. It'll reduce your raw materials inventory by the amount you used in the production run. It'll increase your finished goods by the amount you said you made, so here are 5 packages. And it'll reduce also the lot codes that you use to keep track of those for your lot tracing and making your FIFO lot tracing a little bit simpler. So we close it, we get a neat little production report. It'll give us our actual yield, our planned yield, some cost and productivity notes. And we'll see all the ingredients, their percent of expected use, costs, lot codes, etc. And if we go to our raw materials and finished goods pages, we'll see that our raw materials were updated just a minute ago, the ones that we used. Our finished goods are now 34 packages instead of 29 for the chocolate chips. Now we'll be able to do lot tracing through that production run. If we send these chocolate chips out, we'll update that and know that as well. And that's about it for our production runs. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, email us, chat us, and hope you guys have a great day.